Hello, my name is Ankit Chakya and you are watching Nepal Drives. And today we are driving a reasonable car. Reasonable if you're looking for a car under the 40 lakh budget. 35.99 lakh to be exact. अनि यो गाडी चाहिँ त्यो प्राइसको लागि मलाई I think it looks like a pretty good car, especially design wise. तपाईलाई यो Citroen को history र Citroen को style थाहा छ भने you will know that they don't have the cookie cutter approach. उनीहरुको जहिले पनि एउटा quirkiness हुन्छ, एउटा style हुन्छ, अलिकति different चाहिँ हुन्छ. Now while this isn't on the quirkier side, it does have a style of its own. You will never mistake it for any other car. Maybe यसैको petrol version सँग चाहिँ confuse हुन सक्छ because it looks pretty much the same. हुँदा हुँदा पछाडी fuel cap cover पनि दिएको छ. But you will be able to differentiate it if you look at the EV badge, the new 15-inch alloys, and the charging port cover that's on the right side of the car. I like how the logo is so well integrated into the bonnet of the car. एकदमै seamless design language छ, which I really like. यसको LED DRLs अनि halogen lights पनि मलाई एकदम राम्रो लाग्छ. If you look at the overall design of the car, it manages a very good balance between cute, sophisticated, and a bit of sporty macho-ness pani. More importantly, this is the type of car that you take home, park in your driveway, walk away, and look back and smile because it looks so good. Now that we're done with the exteriors, let's take a look inside. Inside, things are spacious. You can fit 2 people comfortably on the back, 3 people if you're willing to compromise on the comfort. The floorboard has been raised by 70mm to accommodate the battery pack, but it is not much of an issue. The headroom and legroom are pretty decent for me, and you've got a manual adjustment for your seats. What are not manually adjustable though are the outside rearview mirrors. Now they get electrical adjustments, which means you don't have to reach over to your passenger side and adjust the outside rearview mirrors like you used to. Now remember, this is a reasonable car, not a premium one. So there are a lot of plasticky scratchy bits throughout the cabin. However, what I do like is they've gone the extra mile to design these dashboards, these C-shaped vents, this leather steering wheel, all of which give an air of sophistication to what is otherwise a very basic interior. Another thing that I really like about the interiors of the Citroen eC3 Shine is the AC vents. म त पहिलेदेखि भन्छु मलाई चाहिँ टच स्क्रिन युनिट भन्दा फिजिकल नब्सहरु एकदम मन लाग्छ. But there is a caveat to the AC vents, AC unit. It's very loud. एकदमै ठुलो आवाज आउँछ. 1 मा हुँदाखेरि एकदम साइलेन्ट एरै नआएको जस्तो हुन्छ. 2 मा पुग्ने बित्तिकै it's a massive jump. It's like a tsunami coming at you. So maybe that could have been different, but it still does a very good job of cooling down the cabin. अनि चलाउनलाई पनि गाडी चलाएर बेलामा चाहिँ एकदमै सजिलो छ. In terms of technology, you get a 10-inch touchscreen display, which has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is really cool. It is also very lag-free and it works as the rear camera display for the car. However, that is all that you get in terms of tech. Your instrument cluster is absolutely primitive. Basically next to a digital watch, you get the speedometer, any battery bar, any range. That's about it. अरुको information चाहियो भने you will need to toggle through this stock right here. Utility wise, you get plenty of spaces in the cabin. You get a couple of cup holders here, place to store your phone. यता ढोकामा एउटा storage space छ where you can put in your at least a liter of water. यहाँ राख्न मिल्छ. पछाडी ढोकामा पनि त्यति नै space छ. एउटा bottle राख्न मिल्छ. And for this car, I think that's very good. And apart from that, you get a 315-liter boot space, which can accommodate your luggage for a small road trip. Because of the 2540mm long wheelbase, the battery pack fits within it without compromising the boot space. This is why the Citroen eC3 retains its spare wheel. Now that you know all about the interiors, let's drive this thing. To do that, you have to resort to this key. आजकलको नयाँ गाडीहरुमा keyless entry अनि keyless start हुन्छ. यसमा you still have to resort to the key. That beep lets you know it's ready to start, and now we move. Like for अहिलेको Gen Z, Alpha कुनी के हरुलाई चाहिँ यो अलिकति deal breaker हुन सक्छ, किनभने अब यस्तो किटलाई इम्प्रेस गर्ने बेलामा यो कीले फिडल गरेको त्यस्तो नमन पर्न सक्छ. तर for a person who's lived his life with keys in their car, this is not a problem for me. This isn't the first C3 that I've driven. The first C3 I drove was the ICE variant, petrol engine थियो. It was a small engine, 5-speed manual transmission, but it was a lot of fun to drive. It had a lot of character. चलाउँदाखेरि अलिकति rev गरेर चलायो भने अलिकति engaging थियो त्यसको drive चाहिँ, and I really enjoyed that. I mean, the C3 was one of the most driving fun that I've had in a small car. The eC3 was very different. It was par. ठिक्कको थियो चलाउनको लागि रमाइलो. इलेक्ट्रिक गाडी हो अनि इलेक्ट्रिक गाडी जस्तै नै बिहेभ गर्थ्यो. It's the same with this. You've got two driving modes, standard र eco. Eco र standard मा मलाई खासै त्यस्तो धेरै डिफरेन्स लागेन, unless you're really driving aggressively अनि overtakes हरु अलिकति गर्नुपर्ने छ. त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ standard would be my go to drive mode. नत्र भए eco mode is also more than enough. सिटी को लागि इको मोडमा चलाइरहेको थिएँ अनि हामी अहिले यहाँ नवकोटमा आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ I've switched to standard mode plenty of times. Most of the time I'm on standard mode. So apart from that, this is a reasonable car. चलाउनको लागि रमाइलो, धेरै सरप्राइजेसहरु छैन, पावर एकदम लिनियर छ. Once again 143 Newton meters of torque is more than enough. अनि कर्नर्सहरुमा बडी रोल त छ नभएको हैन, but it is controlled. अगाडिपटि त्यति सारो फिल हुँदैन if you're driving in a calm manner. अलिकति aggressively कर्नर्सहरु लिइराखेको छ भने चाहिँ अलिकति बडी रोल चाहिँ हुन्छ. There are plenty of positives तर first thing मलाई यसको visibility एकदम राम्रो लाग्छ, especially for learner drivers हरु भर्खर चलाउन थालेको लागि चाहिँ it's got a very good vantage point. माथि छ, you can see everything properly. Your A pillar, which can be an obstruction in many cars, यसमा त्यति सारो छैन. It doesn't block visibility. Rear visibility is also very good. अनि चलाउनको लागि अलिकति confidence inspiring चाहिँ हुन्छ यो. But having said all of that, this is still a EV car. अनि range anxiety is always there for me. अझै म daily basis मा EV car नचलाएको भएर होला मलाई अझै पनि start off गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अलिकति range anxiety चाहिँ हुन्छ. We started off with 194 kilometers बिहान. अहिले हामी नगरकोटमा पुग्दाखेरि यसले रेन्ज 58 किलोमिटर्स देखाइरहेको छ, which is concerning. but हामी खाली अपहिल मात्र आएको थियौं. डाउनहिलमा यसको रिजेनरेटिभ ब्रेकिङले अलिकति किलोमिटर्सहरु मेकअप गरि नै हाल्छ. That we'll talk about in the verdict, के कसो हुन्छ भनेर. But this is not a range test, so should be fine. Ground clearance wise, यसमा 10 millimeters will compromise from the ICE variant because of the battery pack, but we haven't encountered any problems, and you shouldn't either. 170 mm of ground clearance is more than enough for Kathmandu. अब अरू ठाउँमा जाप्पदै गरेर लगेर रेकलेसली चलाउने भए त ground clearance is the least of your concerns. With everything all said and done, the driving experience of the eC3 is pretty sedate. Plenty for a city vehicle, but it won't wow you in any way. I keep comparing it to the surprisingly good fun I had with the petrol-powered C3, and the experience keeps falling short. So that brings us to the end of our review of what I think is a reasonable car. Now it's not very feature-rich. अरूहरु गाडीहरुमा आजकल धेरै फिचर्सहरु छ, but at this price point provides a lot of things. First of all, the name. Citroen is known to be a very good car throughout the world, and it brings a sense of quirky, fun nature into the automotive sector of Nepal. And त्यसको लागि यो EC3 Shine is a very good example. Apart from that, the suspension does stand out in the segment. However, this is a very competitive segment. यसमा already Bingo EV छ, Neta V छ that it has to compete with, and with the Tata Punch EV coming soon, this segment is not going to be easy. However, I did enjoy driving this car, and I think you will too. So you might give it a test drive if you're in the market for a car in this segment. Well, that is all for our review. This was the EC3 Shine. We are Nepal Drives. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification button so you don't miss our videos. Take care. Oh, and regarding the range, we returned to Kathmandu with 23% battery charge remaining. Having started at 86.4% charge, we managed to drive up to Nagarkot, drive back down halfway, back up again, and drive about the city for a bit.